It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else, and you'll only hear it here on KRKO AM 1380.
I'm glad you're with us today. We attended the Monroe Sportsman show last week and caught up with Chris Sung with Sportsman's Warehouse. He'll join us this week to give you a rundown of free seminars coming up at your local Sportsman's Warehouse store on Everett Mall Parkway in Everett. Our chat with Chris takes place at the bottom of the hour, but you'll want to stick around for the end of the show too, because Bob Loomis is back for another extended Mack's Minute. This week, with the Lowland Lakes opener in mind, the hot topic is trout fishing, and Mack's Lure has an iconic lure called the wedding ring spinner that has been catching trout out of lakes for nearly 50 years. Bob will tell you more about that. Speaking of the Lowland Lakes opener, that leads off what's hot this week in the Pacific Northwest. It is the most popular fishing day of the year today, and I know many of you are tuning in as you head to your favorite lake to go after trout, both pan-sized and trophy-sized today. If you're wondering where the hot spots are in western Washington, I can tell you where they were catching them during last year's opener, which might give you a clue about where to go this year. The best catching, hands down, took place in Island County at Deer Lake, where anglers caught and released an average of nearly 12 trout apiece, with several jumbo trout seen by creel checkers. Langlois Lake in King County gave up over 5 trout per angler, with just under 3 kept. The largest fish checked was a 20-inch rainbow, and 1 derby fish was caught. So look for tags on the fish you catch, because just like last year, those are worth prizes from local retailers in the area you live in, and this is all sponsored by the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. In Skagit County, 16 Lake was a good bet, with both fishermen and women catching over 4 trout each last year. And in Snohomish County, the hot spot was Bosworth Lake, where over 9 fish were caught per angler, to include 2 derby fish that were checked in for prizes. There's more to this weekend than opening day trout, though. There's still plenty of trout to be caught in the Seep Lakes in the Columbia Basin. From Mardon Resort, we learned trout are being caught in the Seep Lakes just south of the resort on glitter mallows, power bait, and worms. The top lakes, Soda, along with the upper and lower Hampton Lakes. And let's not forget bass on the east side, too. Northwest Bass just had their first tournament of the year on Banks Lake on April 14th, where 83 anglers signed up for a one-day contest where the heaviest 5 bass were weighed in. The winning duo was Dan Jensen and Taylor Smith with 16.16 pounds of bass, which means their average fish was just over 3 pounds each. The heaviest fish of the tournament was a 4.85 pounder, well short of that former 11-plus pound record caught by Carl Pruitt in 1977 out of this lake, but still nothing to sneeze at. Turning to hunting, if Facebook is any indicator, a lot more turkeys were hitting the ground this past weekend throughout Washington and Oregon. Personally, I think the improved weather has a lot to do with it, and if you haven't gotten out yet, there's still plenty of time to do so. Finally, a reminder that the Puget Sound recreational shrimp fishery opens up next Saturday the 5th. You are limited to 80 shrimp a day, and you'll want to check the regulations for the different marine areas before you go. You can find out about those regs at wdfw.wa.gov. And now you definitely know what's hot this week right here in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
NorthwestFishingReports.com is the Northwest's largest fishing reports website, featuring well over 50,000 fishing reports, videos, articles, and more. All 100% free. Catch more fish with Northwest Fishing Reports. Log on today.
Wetlands are some of the most important ecosystems on Earth, but our wetlands are quickly disappearing. Find out how you can help. Join Ducks Unlimited today.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
For your next local shot of the outdoors, we're heading to Sportsman's Warehouse on Everett Mall Parkway in Everett. They are a sponsor of our show, and if you go on Monday nights at 5:30, every Monday night at 5:30, you can take in a free seminar. The person that's giving them is Chris Sung. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Good to be here.
So, Chris, let's talk about what's coming up in the month of May at Sportsman's Warehouse, these free seminars you're putting on to help people get more out of the outdoors.
That's correct. This coming Monday, we're doing one on handgun ammunition, and whether you shoot informally or you're a competitor or you want it for self-defense, you'll learn a lot about handgun ammunition. It's more than just pulling the trigger and it going bang. We're also going to be doing a basic reloading seminar in May as well for anybody who wants to save 40 to 50% on their ammunition. You can get started reloading. We teach you safety, we teach you technique, and we teach you secrets that a lot of people don't know about reloading. I'll also be doing one about finding the right knife for your everyday carry or for whatever you do, whether it's cooking or cleaning game. We have a great knife seminar, and there is a difference between knives, so we fit the knife to what you need.
Well, hold on. You got my interest on that one. I just thought an everyday carry knife was all about, whatever fashion you wanted. I didn't know there was really a difference.
Well, every knife maker has different levels of types of metal that they use for their knives, and it's called the Rockwell hardness factor. So if you're cutting straps at Home Depot, you want a harder knife because you don't have to sharpen it as often. For everyday carry, you can get a knife that will do strings, paper, food, cheese, apples if you want. You don't need one that has the harder metal because those types of knives are very special. They cost more because it's a special metal, but we do carry those at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I will fit the knife to your particular needs. Also, the shape of the knife also determines how you use that knife.
So coming up, we've got handgun ammunition, we've got knives, we've got basic reloading, and it changes every week, folks. Bottom line is this. If you're looking for something to do on Monday nights at 5:30, the place to go to is your local Sportsman's Warehouse store in Everett. Take in a free seminar and walk out a smarter person. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Looking for a way to get the message out about your business to hunters and anglers throughout the Seattle and Everett area? Then consider advertising with America Outdoors Radio on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO. To find out more, contact John Cruz through his website at americaoutdoorsradio.com.
Let's get back to the local outdoors scene. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, heard exclusively here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
It's time for another Mack's Minute.
Fish on!
Brought to you every week by Mack's Lure Company. And with us back again is Bobby Loomis. Bobby, it's spring. The trout are being stocked in lakes all over the Northwest. What's the lure folks ought to use to catch some of those stockers?
Well, we just happen to have the wedding ring spinner. The wedding ring spinner has been around since 1969. It's pretty much the exact same product that Vern McPherson started in Riggins, Idaho.
And you can't argue with success. I think more tackle boxes than not have one or more wedding ring spinners in them. Perfect lure for trolling. And I know some people that will actually put split shot on the line above it and actually use it as a casting lure.
It works so well trolling, why wouldn't you cast it?
Now, there's basically two flavors of the wedding ring. When it was first made, it was basically an Indiana blade, a small Indiana blade, and you still see that in terms of a hammered brass or hammered chrome blade. But now you can get the wedding ring with a smile blade too. Does it really matter one over the other, or is it just preference?
You know, a lot of it is preference. Metal blades, you do get a little bit more added thump to it versus the smile blade, but on the other hand, the smile blade gives you a little back and forth movement, kind of like a crankbait style type action to whatever is behind it, including, a wedding ring.
And if you're trolling slow, then obviously the Mylar blade, the smile blade, is going to work better because it spins at slower speeds. But whichever one you choose, you're probably going to get in some trout. It's the wedding ring spinner. It is the first lure ever made by Mack's Lure Company. And if there's one lure you're going to find in the stores, this is it. We'll talk again next week, Bobby.
Thank you, John.
That wraps things up for this weekend, but we'll be back again next Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. to bring you your special Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, heard here and only here on Fox Sports, KRKO AM 1380 and FM 95.3. Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.